We all know that normal blood pH is 7.4. But did you know that a change in blood pH by just zero point 0.1 can make a patient critically ill? Yes, pH must be regulated very precisely within a narrow range of 7.35 to 7.45. This tight control is essential for normal enzymatic activity and thereby the cardiac rhythm and neuronal functions. In fact, a person cannot survive at a pH of 6.8 or 7.8. So, how does the body maintain such a precise control over pH, and what happens when this balance is disturbed? In this series of lectures, we shall explore how pH is regulated by different mechanisms and how body responds to the abnormal pH values. To understand acid-base balance properly, foundation knowledge must be strong. And so, before discussing regulation, we shall begin with a quick revision of essential basics. Hi, this is Pratima and welcome to Planet Physiology, where concepts become crystal clear. Let's start with the definition of an acid. An acid is a substance that donates hydrogen ions. In other words, it is a proton donor. For example, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, carbonic acid, lactic acid, and so on. Remember that the concentration of free hydrogen ions decides acidity and hence the pH of the solution. As all the acids do not behave in the same way based on their ability of dissociation and generation of hydrogen ions, acids are classified into strong acids and weak acids. A strong acid is one that dissociates completely in a solution and releases almost all of its hydrogen ions. For example, hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid. Because of complete dissociation, strong acids cause rapid and marked increase in hydrogen ion concentration, leading to large fall in pH. Due to this dangerous property, strong acids do not exist in free form in body fluids. They are immediately neutralized by the buffer systems. We shall study buffers in detail a little later in this video. Now, in contrast to strong acids, weak acids dissociate partially in solution and exist in equilibrium between dissociated and undissociated forms. For example, carbonic acid. It partially breaks down into hydrogen ions and bicarbonate ions. Physiologically important weak acids are, of course, carbonic acid, apart from that, lactic acid, various keto acids, phosphoric acids, acetic acid, etc. Because of partial dissociation, weak acids release hydrogen slowly, resulting in less drastic changes in pH. Most of the metabolic acids produced in the body are weak acids. The body actually prefers weak acids because they form the basis of buffer systems, allowing fine control of pH of the body fluids. Now let's move on to the concept of bases. A base is a substance that accepts hydrogen ions, that is, it is a proton acceptor. Sometimes it is also defined as a substance that donates hydroxyl ions into the solution. Examples include bicarbonate ions, proteins, and phosphates. Just like acids, all bases are not equally strong, and therefore a strong base dissociates completely in a solution and produces large amount of hydroxyl ions or rapidly accepts hydrogen ions. They include sodium hydroxide, which almost 100% dissociates into sodium and hydroxyl ions. Similarly, potassium hydroxide and calcium hydroxide. Their presence causes a rapid and marked rise in pH, leading to severe alkalinization. Strong bases do not exist in an equilibrium state and therefore do not exist freely in the body fluids. They are immediately neutralized by carbonic acid, proteins, or phosphate buffers. Now coming to the weak bases. A weak base dissociates partially and exists in equilibrium between protonated and unprotonated forms. Physiologically important weak bases include bicarbonates, phosphates, proteins including hemoglobin and ammonia. Weak bases accept hydrogen ions gradually, causing a smaller immediate change in the pH. Thus, strong acids and bases dissociate completely whereas weak acids and bases dissociate partially. Physiological acid-base balance is maintained mainly by weak acids and weak bases, which form the backbone of buffer systems. Before moving ahead, pause for a moment and think, what is the difference between a base and an alkali? Yes, an alkali is a base that is soluble in water. It is usually formed by the combination of alkaline metals like sodium, potassium, lithium, etc. with a strongly basic ion such as hydroxyl ion. Examples of alkalis are sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide and ammonium hydroxide. So basically what you have to remember, all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. Physiological acid-base balance is maintained by weak bases and not by alkalis. Now let's revise important points related to pH. pH is defined as negative log of hydrogen ion concentration. Because the pH scale is logarithmic, even a small change in pH represents a large change in hydrogen ion concentration. This explains why pH disturbances are potentially life-threatening. A pH of 7 is considered as neutral, that is neither acidic nor alkaline. pH less than 7 is acidic and pH more than 7 is alkaline. The farther the pH from 7, the greater the acidity or alkalinity of the solution. Normally, arterial blood pH is 7.4, which ranges between 7.35 to 7.45, making it slightly alkaline. With reference to blood pH, pH less than 7.4 is considered as acidic and more than 7.4 as alkaline. So in physiology, we consider anything as acidic if it is less than 7.4 and alkaline if it is more than 7.4. Our body constantly produces various acids like carbonic acid, sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, lactic acid, pyruvic acid, keto acids, etc. These acids are produced during metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, and these are continuously added into the blood. As a result, venous blood pH is slightly lower than that of arterial blood pH. So venous blood pH is about 7.38, a little acidic than that of arterial blood pH. These acids must be neutralized immediately and removed efficiently to maintain the normal pH of the body fluids. So this regulation is achieved by buffers, respiratory system and renal system. Buffer system prevents drastic changes in pH and therefore act immediately. Respiratory system regulates carbon dioxide removal, whereas the kidneys maintain long-term acid-base balance by excreting either acidic or alkaline urine. Now based on the route of elimination, acids are classified into volatile and non-volatile acids. Volatile acids can be converted into gaseous form and then eliminated via lungs. For example, carbonic acid. It gets converted to carbon dioxide and water, and carbon dioxide is then eliminated via lungs. Carbon dioxide is major metabolic end product and is directly regulated by respiratory system by altering the rate of respiration. Hence, the volatile acid does not accumulate under normal condition. Usually, the carbonic acid concentration cannot be measured directly and therefore partial pressure of carbon dioxide is used as an indicator of its concentration. Okay, moving on to non-volatile acids. Non-volatile acids cannot be converted into gaseous form and therefore they must be excreted by kidneys. Examples of non-volatile acids are sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, lactic acid, keto acids like acetoacetic acid and beta-hydroxybutyric acid. They are mainly produced from the metabolism of proteins and phospholipids. Here is a summary table for quick comparison. Normally, daily production of volatile acids is very high, while non-volatile acids are produced in lesser quantities but play significant role. This knowledge is essential to understand disturbances in acid-base balance. Now let's revise the important points about buffers. Buffer is a substance that binds reversibly with the hydrogen ions and resists changes in pH when an acid or base is added in the solution, and hence The buffer is combination of weak acid and its conjugate salt. Buffers act within a fraction of a second and form the first line of defense against pH change. Buffers do not eliminate hydrogen ions. They temporarily tie them up until the balance is restored. Examples of buffer include bicarbonate buffer system, which is a combination of carbonic acid and sodium bicarbonate. Phosphate buffer system consisting of disodium phosphate and monosodium phosphate. Ammonia buffer consisting of ammonia and ammonium ion. Apart from this, proteins also act as important buffers. Now, why buffers are essential? Do you know about 80 milliequivalents of hydrogen ions are produced or ingested daily, while the normal hydrogen concentration in the body fluid is only 0.00004 milliequivalents per liter. Without buffers, even a single day's acid production would cause massive changes in pH. So, buffers form first line of defense to prevent any changes in the body fluid pH. Now you may wonder, why does our body need so many buffers? It's because different buffers work best in different body compartments. For example, bicarbonate buffer works best in extracellular fluid, phosphate buffers in intracellular fluid and renal tubules, while protein buffers play important role in plasma and RBCs. This difference is due to difference in the dissociation constants of acid component of these buffers. How? Let's understand this by Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. Undergraduate students may not need to know its derivation, and PGs can refer International Edition of Guyton and Hall textbook of Physiology. It has explained the derivation of this equation in a very simple stepwise manner. This knowledge will definitely improve your understanding about acid-base balance. Okay, what is this Henderson-Hasselbalch equation? The final equation is pH equal to pK plus log of concentration of base divided by concentration of acid in a buffer. So basically it explains how pH depends on dissociation constant of a weak acid and the ratio of acid to its conjugate base. When pH of a solution is equal to pK of the buffer, the concentration of acid and its salt in a buffer are in equal proportion because log of 1 is equal to 0. The buffer is most effective at this pH. Same is shown in this diagram. So here is the proportion of acid in the buffer and right hand side is proportion of base in a buffer. On x-axis is pH of a solution. So whenever pH matches exactly with 50% of each component, buffer can most effectively neutralize addition of either acid or bases in a solution. Apart from pK value, effectiveness of the buffer also depends on absolute concentration of the buffer in the solution. So with this basic understanding of acids, bases, pH and buffers, you are now ready to learn how individual buffer systems work in body to maintain its pH. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video where we shall discuss the role of individual buffer systems in maintaining the pH of the body fluids. If you enjoy my presentations, press the like button and share it with your friends. For more such videos, subscribe my channel and click the bell icon. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.